Hi, it's Marty Cesario for Mountain TV with Sportswomen of Colorado, and for this segment we hear from Olivia Cummins, who's a professional cyclist. Olivia was a member of the Team USA group that won a gold medal in the women's team pursuit in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Cummins is a graduate of Colorado Mesa University. She competed with the CMU cycling program. Olivia is a native of Fort Collins, Colorado. Now we bring in Jennifer Anderson Ehrlich, the executive director for Sportswomen of Colorado. So here we go. It's Jen with Olivia.
Good morning. I am catching up with Olivia Cummins today, our 2024 collegiate cyclist honoree. How are you, Olivia?
I'm really good. How are you?
Doing great. It's wonderful to catch up with you. You graduated from Colorado Mesa University last year. You had a really busy summer. Can you catch us up on everything that you have done this summer?
Yeah, it's definitely been a really busy summer, especially in the first half of it. I had 16 race days in June this year, so way more than I normally have. I kind of started it with a 3-day race, going into a 2-day race the weekend after, and then followed that up with 11 days of racing that next week. And then after that, I got a couple weeks off to just train and relax and recover from all the traveling and racing, and then went into another 10-day race series about like mid to end of July, and then traveled back home to Colorado after that and did just a 1-day race down in Littleton, which is super fun. It's always fun to race at home. And then a couple weeks after that, I went to Elite Track Nationals down in Colorado Springs, and that kind of wrapped up the summer months of racing for me this year.
Can you talk about America cycling culture versus European or international cycling culture, because it's very different?
It is very, very different. I think it's really different in a lot of ways, and I think a big part of it is that in Europe, cycling is a big sport there. It's like how basketball or football would be here is what cycling is like in Europe. So there's a lot more support. There's a lot of like government funding within the countries. There's a lot more money, and they have a lot of like sports academy like schools that kids will be put into when they're really young, and like sports is a lot more of like a big deal I think over there than it is here, even, which is kind of crazy to say because I feel like sports are a pretty big deal here, but so much so there that we'll send kids to schools specifically for sports. And I think there's just a lot more support, but I also think because of that, it for a lot of people in the cycling world over in Europe, that becomes their whole life, and they're able to make enough money from the sport that can be their whole life, that can be their full-time job, and they commit everything to that sport. But can't really happen in the US, especially in cycling. There just isn't enough money, enough funding in the sport. Like for me, I'm going to be starting a job this fall just because I'm not getting paid enough to just race right now in the US. But it's a lot more hardcore and full on, I think, in Europe. And I think Europe's also in a very different place in terms of how they approach like women's like eating disorders or like body positivity and like all that stuff, and mental health. I think Europe is still kind of in like the older viewpoints of that, where it's like that's just how it is, kind of get over it and move on. Like with eating, it's like, well, you kind of just need to lose some weight or else you're not going to do well. Like if you want to do well, you got to cut back. And that's definitely not a huge thing in the US anymore. It's a lot more like careful, which I think is a good thing. Like there's a lot more talk about women's eating and just eating disorders in general and mental health, and that's a lot more of a priority here than in Europe, which I think is a good thing, but it is very different.
Yeah, no, I had a recent conversation with some ultra runners, and they were discussing kind of the culture and the way that body image is addressed with women versus men, or girls versus boys. So with boys, there's this concept of just wait until he grows. Mm-hmm. So I could think about, this prodigy 14-year-old boy that hasn't hit his growth spurt, right? And you're like, just wait until he grows. And then you might look at a female cyclist who is prepubescent and then they say, oh, she's good now, but just wait until she grows. Like it's a negative thing, right? Like if you fight your genetics, it's could be detrimental kind of to your gymnastics career, or if you gain weight around cycling. And I always think about what would it be like to be a female athlete that's fueled properly in those kinds of sports, as opposed to in a restriction phase or restricting food and then bonking. Yeah. Right. So on those 10-day races, what does your nutrition look like?
I mean, honestly, for those races, it's eat as much as I can every day. Especially I feel like the more you race and like go hard, the less you want to eat anything. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just eating as much as I can, really prioritizing carbs and protein.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to snacks?
My go-to snacks. Oh man, I love like yogurt and granola as a snack. I will, if it's available, I think that like I'll eat it all the time. Just a nice bowl of yogurt with some granola and maybe some fruit in there. Yeah, for sure.
What are you pulling out to eat when you're on your bike?
When I'm on my bike, that kind of just, yeah, that's very different. It kind of changes. I mean, my team has like a fueling sponsor, a nutrition sponsor, and they make like chews that have a lot of carbs in it. They make gels, and they have a lot of like high carb drink mix that I use. I love the carbs in my bottles because it's just way easier for me to drink. Yeah, to drink than like to eat and whatever.
Okay, I'm going to ask you just some quick short answer questions and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. What is scarier, going 45 miles downhill or missing a class project deadline?
Missing a class project deadline.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. If you were not cycling, what sport would you be chasing?
Yeah, my parents I always loved rock climbing, and when I was little and like anytime we were on a hike, I would be climbing rocks. And yeah, so my parents like to say that if I didn't end up bike riding, that I would be a rock climber now. So probably that.
Adrenaline junkie is what I hear.
Yeah, seems like it.
Would you rather get up and ride early or ride late?
I would rather ride late. I like sleeping in.
Interesting. I feel like all you cyclist people want to get up and ride. But
a lot of people do. But
I need to go ride my bike with you. I would prefer riding later. Yeah. And last question. If your bike could talk after a race, what would your bike say to you?
It would probably say that I need to stop like riding so close to people, and that it's because that's something everybody tells me that I do is I like they get nervous watching me because I ride so close to other people, and I'm just comfortable doing it that way, but it makes everyone else nervous. So
they don't like to draft for you, I gather then.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but yeah.
Say you're drafting for me. So
yeah, exactly.
Olivia, congratulations on crushing your collegiate career at Colorado Mesa.
Thank you.
You dominated. Keep in touch. It was great catching up with you.
Yeah, you too.
Wait to see you in LA.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for supporting Sportswomen of Colorado. They've been telling these stories for over 50 years, and they're just catching up.